Welcome back. 23 different federal entities are responsible for cybersecurity in government. The Government Accountability Office says one leader should coordinate all of those efforts. Ari Schwartz is Managing Director of Cybersecurity Services at Venable, former Special Assistant to the President and Senior Director for Cybersecurity. Ari, welcome. Thanks for coming on the program. I think of all of the work that GAO did, the thing that's jumped out at me the most was this passage. The Senior Director of the NSC Cyber Directorate now fulfills the duties that were previously assigned to the former White House Cybersecurity Coordinator. GAO says that's the response that they get from the National Security Council. What does that mean? Is that an equal level of responsibility for the jobs that GAO is talking about here?
No, it's really not. I think there were 3 senior directors at the beginning of this administration, and now there's 1. And there was 12 staff working on this at the NSC at the beginning of the administration. Now there's 6. And you look at what the Congressional Solarium Commission has called for in this space. They're looking for a staff of 50 people to do this same coordination. It's now you're hearing this. We've been hearing from a lot of people that more leadership is necessary, but now having GAO say that it's an urgent issue, I think is really hopefully going to change a lot of people's opinion and move this to the top of the list of things that need to get done.
Is that the major takeaway for you from the GAO report, is just the urgency that they're attaching to this, or was there something else that the GAO reported out that you thought was also significant, Ari?
Well, it's the lack of coordination in general, and the fact that they say that I think that for the first time they're saying that the administration is not making progress on its own cybersecurity plan, and the fact that they have not been able to make that kind of those kind of efforts, especially in the cross-agency and interagency work that needs to be done because of that lack of coordination, is really very clear. At the same time, the same day, they put out another report, GAO put out another report saying that the State Department hasn't been coordinating its efforts. And again, it's sort of hard for agencies to do that when there's not leadership and there's not the coordinating pieces that come together, and there's not people to coordinate with at least through the White House.
What's the overlap look like in this cyber coordinator position that Congressman Langevin has proposed and that the Cyber Solarium Commission has endorsed? What does that person do in relation to some of the other constructs in government? I mentioned those 23, CIS is among those, and there are other organizations among those. What's that person in the White House? What would that person in the White House do?
Well, I think they're talking about having an agency that's inside the White House. It's something that's more similar to what the U.S. trade rep does, right? Where you have full staff that kind of maps to the general focus of all of the different areas in trade, in the U.S. trade rep case, and everyone reports in through that, and then they end up doing that kind of negotiation. In this case, you would have all those 20-plus agencies that do cybersecurity reporting into the cyber directorate, and have detailees from those different agencies that then can be part of the staff for the director, who would then be able to help to coordinate across all of it and make sure that these things are getting done. That was another thing that from the report is like the lack of metrics in this space, and is hurting the accountability as well. So you help to build those metrics out and to really make sure that the work is being followed when you have a plan like the current administration does.
And it strikes me that those metrics are now knowable given all the dashboards that we have. There's a lot of information that's being fed to those dashboards that strikes me wouldn't be that difficult for the White House office that is proposed here to have visibility into. Is that a fair estimate?
Absolutely right. I mean, the dashboarding, I think, is helpful for this way this is structured. OMB has built that and helped it, and has had a cyber team that has worked with the NSC on this stuff in the past, and the idea here would be you'd have this new directorate that would then build up and the ability to track everything that's going on in the space, but be it policy or be it operational cybersecurity.
Congressman Langevin's legislation, Ari, would also, in addition to the cyber director, would create 2 deputy positions, one charged with planning and operations and the other focused on strategy, capabilities, and budget, according to FCW. Is that, you like that construct? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I think that there needs to be one that is really focused on operations, that does more of the foreign policy pieces, that also can focus a little bit on the offensive side, more on the offensive side, and figure out what needs to be done with the intelligence community and with others in that space. And then there can be one that's doing more of the domestic work, figuring out the budget pieces and working with the different agencies involved domestically. DHS, NIST are the ones that, and state, and then whereas the other ones focus more on the State Department and the IC.
30 seconds left, Ari. What are the metrics that this cyber director should be watching? What should other people across government be watching now in lieu of having somebody in that job?
Well, I mean, you still have the plan, right? And I think that's why the GAO went through such great detail in laying out the plan and what has been accomplished and who is in charge of what and how it's getting done, and demonstrating that there's this lack of coordination. So I do think that what the White House can do now is bring together all of the different agencies and come up with the plan and really start to hit deadlines. That's one thing that GAO also mentioned here, was there's just a lack of deadlines to get things done, so they're not getting done. If they really laid out those deadlines and demonstrated publicly that they were hitting those targets, people would feel a lot more comfortable. This is really, cybersecurity remains an existential threat for the U.S., and not being able to address it is a major concern.
Ari Schwartz, thanks very much as always.
Thank you.